Hey guys, this is really long overdue, but I wanted to do my labor and delivery story for you guys. I'm going to be doing a lot of other videos too. I want to do a postpartum update, a baby update. We were 6 weeks yesterday, or sorry, 6 weeks on Monday, and I want to do a breastfeeding update. A lot went on with that, and also cloth diapering. We've been cloth diapering since she was born, so I want to do a video on that. So I have a lot of videos I have to do, but I definitely wanted to get started on this one. So my labor and delivery. Jade was born August 13th at 5:46 in the morning. So about 2 weeks before I went into labor, I lost my mucus plug, and I got all excited and called her grandma, and they were coming from Pennsylvania, so they wanted to be here right when she was going to be born, and so we thought it was going to be soon, and they ended up coming way early, but yeah, pretty much it meant nothing. I ended up waiting 2 weeks, and I kind of thought that it would happen the next day for me because with my mom, she gave birth the next day after she lost her mucus plug. After that happened, I just, I would have a lot of Braxton Hicks throughout my days. Um, every day seemed like it was taking forever. Um, it just, so when I lost my plug, I was at 39 weeks. And so I thought, oh, wow, any day now. But no, definitely not. Okay, so after that happened, about 3 days before I went into labor, I had some bloody discharge, and so I thought I was having my bloody show. It was very light, but I thought, okay, no, this is it. And so I called my midwives and I told and my doula, and I told them I think I'm going to go into labor tonight. And turns out I didn't. I was having a lot more contractions. They were a little stronger, but no, nothing. A couple days later, I had more of, I guess you could say more of a real bloody show. It was a lot more blood, a lot more discharge. And sorry if this is TMI, but it is a labor and delivery story. So that was on Saturday. Yeah, Saturday. And so Saturday night, I had a lot more contractions, and Sunday, um, my contractions got a lot stronger. I mean, they weren't timeable. They weren't, to the point where I knew labor was going to happen soon. I mean, I knew it was going to happen within the next day or so, but I wasn't sure still at that point. So that was like around, like in the morning time, I woke up, I was still having more discharge and everything. Then around like 1 o'clock, we ended up going to Walmart, so having more stronger contractions. They were getting to the point where like I kind of had to stop and like not really breathe them out, but they were pretty painful. I mean, they weren't anything like labor, but they were nothing like the other Braxton Hicks. Like they were more true contractions. Okay, and so around 8 o'clock, they kept going at it. They were around like 6 to 7 minutes apart. It wasn't, and sometimes they would go longer, like 10 minutes apart, 12 minutes apart. So around 8 o'clock, I ended up calling my doula and told her that I thought it was going to be soon. And I also called my midwives and told the midwife on call that I thought it was probably going to be soon. And I kind of just wanted to give them a heads up. I didn't really know at that point. You don't really know with labor when it's going to be, obviously. So, yeah, that was around 8. And then let's see, probably around 10 o'clock, they got like really, really strong. I mean, they were just so painful. And I didn't know it at the time, but I wasn't really dealing well with my contractions. Um, I had heard about Bradley and different breathing and all the things you can do and the different positioning, and I was trying to walk around and get on my hands and knees, but I was really tensing up with each of my contractions, and I didn't really know it at the time. But so that was around 10, and they just kept getting stronger, and also throughout my day, I was having a lot more discharge, So I was like, okay, so my cervix is definitely opening up, and I was really curious to see what it would be. Whenever I called my midwives, I was really like wondering, oh, okay, well, I have to be really dilated because I've been, having all this stuff going on the whole day. So my contractions were really painful from 10 to about 1 o'clock in the morning, and actually 10 to 12. Around 12:30, they got to the point where they were like 3 to 5 minutes apart. They were actually more like 4 to 6 minutes apart. At my birthing center, they tell you to call the midwives when you're 3 to 5 minutes apart. And I mean, it wasn't consistent to where I knew it was 3 to 5 minutes. Sometimes it'd be 4 minutes, sometimes it'd be 6 minutes. And so I kept asking my boyfriend, I'm like, do you think I should call them? And he's like, you're the one that's in labor. I don't know. And I mean, he would time them. But then finally around 12 o'clock, 12:30, I was like, no, they're so intense. They were really, really, really intense. I mean, I didn't want to go and, go too early. So I was trying to hold out as long as possible. But at this point, I was just like, no, it's got to be soon. They are so intense. And so, around 12:30, we called my midwife, and the midwife I called and told her, I wanted to head over to the birthing center, and she said, okay. So I got to the birthing center around 1 o'clock, 1:15. My midwife got there first, and then my doula got there afterwards. And my midwife checked me, and I was 6 to 7 centimeters dilated, which was awesome. They're like, oh my gosh, you're doing so good for being 6 to 7. And they're like, I can't believe you're talking, and da-da-da-da. I mean, at that point, I was still able to talk in between contractions. But every time that I had them, they were just unbearable. I would clench up, and it just wasn't going well for me. When my doula got there, I had a contraction right away. And she was like, where does it hurt? Does it hurt in your back? Does it hurt in the front? I'm like, no, it hurts in the front. She was like, okay. And so she did these massaging techniques on me, and she would stroke my back, and she's like, try to focus all your energy down there. And we did different breathing techniques. It kind of sounded like a strong humming noise. I mean, if I would have walked in on my labor, I would have laughed because it did sound funny to me. I mean, at the time I didn't care. But honestly, it helped tremendously. It was like before I could feel pain all over my body, and as soon as she started doing that, I could only feel pain down in my pelvic region. And so I was just kind of coasting through the contractions at that point. Like once she got there, and once she helped me with breathing, and I think at first we were on the ball. I was on the birthing ball, kind of just swaying from side to side, and I really just wanted to do anything that would make my contractions efficient. I'm like, okay, I don't want to be in any kind of position that's going to make it so that my labor stalls or whatever. I did want to have a water birth, and for whatever reason, my midwife did not want me to get in the water at that point. Supposedly, if you get in the water too early, it can delay your labor. So for whatever reason, I don't know what it was, she had a gut feeling, I don't know, told me that I couldn't get in at that point. So I was like, okay, fine. You're the boss. You're the one that's going to get my baby out. I trust you. So whatever. Was on the birthing ball. Let's see, what else did I do? Then I think I spent a majority of the time on the birthing ball. Then I was on my hands and knees. I shouldn't say hands and knees. I was on the bed with my knees on the bed, and then I had pillows under my chest, like lifted up so that I could kind of lay my head. And I think at that point I was, almost like, I think she said I was around like 10 centimeters at that point. Maybe that was like a few hours later. And she said, you know, if you start to feel the urge to push, go ahead and push. And, sorry, I'm recording this on my computer and the light keeps turning on and off. And, so at that point, I think I was in that position for a couple hours, and, then they're like, okay, well, you know, we want you to turn around and lay on your back, because we want you to really start to push. And, because I guess I was fully effaced and fully dilated, and, I was starting to push in that position, but it wasn't working very well. So I turned around. I was laying on my back, and, I ended up having my boyfriend on my left side and my doula on my right side. And, I ended up pushing with one, like, my legs elevated, one leg on my boyfriend's shoulder and one leg on my doula's shoulder. And, for me, that was the most comfortable, which is funny because I didn't really want to give birth in that position. And so I ended up pushing like that. They did ask me if I wanted to get into the pool at that point, but I was in so much pain that I didn't want to move. I was just like, no, I'm not moving. I'm fine like this. Everything's going okay. I don't really care about the water right now. Like, I was just like, I'm over this. I would say though that at that point, I was having a harder time with my contractions again. Like, I was starting to, you know, not progress like I should have been. She would have been born earlier, maybe like an hour earlier, if I had been in the right mindset from the beginning. Because from the beginning of me laying on my back and actually starting to push, I really wasn't okay with the pain that I was having. I could feel like my pelvis opening up, and I could feel her coming down, and it was just like a feeling that I was not okay with having. And my midwife is like, you know, there's millions of women all over the world having babies right now. And I'm like, I don't freaking care about those women. And I'm like, they're crazy. There were so many times where I just wanted to cry and give up at that point. And I was just like, you know, I knew in my mind that I had come to a certain point where you can't go back. You have to finish what you started. Like, there's no way that they could be like, okay, I'm transferring you to the hospital. Like, I don't know that my baby would have made it. And I knew that. I knew that I had to finish. But I wasn't okay with how I was feeling. And so my midwife said to me, you know, you need to be okay with how you're feeling. And I realized I'm not okay with how I'm feeling. I'm not okay with this pain. I'm really not. And at that point, I decided, okay, I need to just be okay with it, and I need to just do this. And throughout my pushing, I wasn't loud or anything. I was just very like in my head, you know. And at that point, I decided, okay, I would, with each contraction, she's like, push however much you can for as long as you can with each contraction. And so I remember I was sitting there and I'm like, okay, this contraction I'm going to push 3 times really strong. And at first it was going really well, but then I got to the point where I was just really, I guess, really tired. And so they ended up giving me oxygen, which was fine. And it really helped me. At one point, her heart rate dropped to around 80 beats per minute, and the midwife was like, all right, I want to get this baby out. Let's get this baby out. And so I just was like, okay, let me just do this. And I pushed her out. I mean, it was amazing. I was just like, oh my goodness, when is this going to be over? I just want it to be over. But really, if it wasn't for my doula helping with the breathing and then me being able to focus at the end, I wouldn't have been able to do it. So I'm just so thankful that I had her support, and of course my boyfriend's support. You know, I needed him there too. So she was born at 5:46, and she weighed 6 pounds 15 ounces. I did lose a lot of blood. I went through like 2 or 3 chucks pads of blood, and so they ended up giving me a shot of Pitocin. They ended up giving me some herbs, which helped. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that throughout my labor, I got 2 Charlie horses, and it was when I was laying on my stomach, and I was just like, no way, this is the worst time to have Charlie horse. I'm not dealing with labor pain and Charlie horse pain, because it was like the worst Charlie horse ever. So like, no, you need to keep drinking water. So throughout my labor too, I forgot to mention this, I was drinking water. They made me go to the bathroom like 2 times, which I hated them for because I did not want to move. But anyways, so back to the end. So they gave me herbs for my bleeding, and then they made me get up, and I felt like my stomach. And I guess this is normal, but it didn't feel. Sorry, she's starting to stir. It didn't feel normal to me. It felt like my stomach was just hanging there, and it was like the worst feeling in the world. It made me sick. It made me very nauseous. And so when I had to go to the bathroom, I was like holding my stomach because I did not like how it felt. I took a shower, and I remember going to the bathroom, and it stung really bad. And so they're probably like, yeah, you probably tore. So then after my shower, I went back to bed and waited for the next midwife to come on. The midwife I had was like their extra help midwife, like when the other 2 midwives aren't on call, she's on call. So it wasn't the midwife that I usually see, but anyways, so the midwife that I usually see came, and she was like, okay, well, you did tear, so I'm gonna have to put a couple sutures in, and I did not like the sound of that. As soon as she said that, sorry, as soon as she said that, my boyfriend said I turned green. I looked like death as soon as she said that, because I was just like so traumatized that and I don't mean to talk down natural labor or anything like that, but for me, at first I was a little traumatized. It was very painful. I mean, I'm so happy I did it natural, and I would totally do it again, but I was just really scared. And when she told me she was going to come at me with needles, yeah, no, I did not like the sound of that. And so I'm like, oh, I'm really hungry, let me eat. So I ended up eating some strawberries, and they gave me some iron, Florinef iron supplement. And then after that, I think I nursed for a little bit. Yeah, and I forgot to mention, I did nurse right away after she was born. And so she was, for what I thought, she was latched on fine and nursing, which I'll go into detail in my breastfeeding video. But yeah, so she nursed right after she was born, and like they laid her right on my chest, and did the newborn assessment while I was holding her and everything like that. So anyways, after I ate, then my midwife was like, let's just get this done, let's just do this. And I was like, no, I'm like, it's okay, you don't have to suture me. She's like, no, I have to suture you. She's like, you're gonna want me to suture you. You're gonna have 3 labias if I don't suture you. And so I was just like, okay, fine. So I ended up obviously being okay with it. What I also forgot to mention, sorry, it's just kind of all over the place, but I'm remembering bits and pieces. I should have done this video right away. But so while I was in labor, my midwife puts a hot washcloth on my perineum in order to prevent tearing. They also tell you to do perineal massage, like stretch the inside of your vagina. I mean, that sounds crazy, but suppose they tell you to do that, and that'll help with tearing, which I did not do. So I don't know that if I would have done that, it would have prevented tearing, but who knows. I also want to add that she was born facing down, posterior. Wait, yeah, anterior. Yeah, anterior. She was born anterior. And I will say that probably it was because of the pelvic rocks. I was doing them constantly. And when I was first in labor, like around 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, when they got serious, I was really starting to do them because I wanted to, make sure that she was born the right way. So, I mean, I don't know if that really helped or not, but she was born anterior, facing down. So anyways, they sutured me, and I think I breastfed some more after that. And we stayed at the birthing center till about 9, maybe it was around 10 o'clock ish, and then we headed home after that. So I mean, it went really well, really, really well, I would say, and I'm just so thankful for my midwives and my doula and my family support. We called actually my mom and my boyfriend's mom. They were all there, but they were waiting in the waiting room. They didn't come in until after she was born. They didn't see me at all until after she was born. Which if I would have wanted them in the room, they could have been, but it was kind of like I needed to focus, and I'm glad the way that it turned out. At one of my postpartum visits, my midwives that I normally see were like, you know, we just want you to know that it went so well. I mean, on paper, it looks like you came in at 1:30 or whatever, you got checked at 1:30, 1:15, and pushed your baby out at 5:46. She's like, it looks awesome. And I will say that I was taking evening primrose oil twice a day, and at 1,000 milligrams, one orally and 500 orally and 500 intravaginally. And I don't know if that helped get my body ready ahead of time, which helped with labor in the end, because I felt like my body had been getting ready for weeks. So I don't know if that helped or not, but everything worked out really well, and I'm really happy. And it did take me a while to get back to normal life, but we had a lot of help with my mom and my boyfriend's mom and dad. I mean, we had help for like 2-3 weeks, people coming over every day, bringing food and all that stuff. So, I mean, that was so helpful. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to do it, which was crazy at the time, is we had 6 puppies. Yeah, 6 puppies. Yeah, 6 puppies. One of them died. So that's why I'm like trying to think of how many puppies we had at the time. 6 puppies that we had to take care of. So if it wasn't for our family helping us, it would have been crazy having to take care of 6 puppies and a newborn. And I mean, I couldn't even, you know, I was very unsteady, like not unsteady on my feet, but I didn't feel very strong or myself. So it would have just been really hard. But anyways, I don't want to make this too long. I'll go more into detail about how I felt and everything after birth in my postpartum update. I just wanted to get this up, and I'll try to make some more videos so you guys can keep tabs on what's going on with us. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Alrighty, thanks. Bye.